Hello witches, wizards and those who are yet to receive their Hogwarts school letters, welcome to my Harry Potter kitchen. This is the YouTube series where I'm baking my way through the Harry Potter books, making recipes for every item of food and drink that we find inside. If you missed last week's recipe where we made a magical peanut butter jelly ice cream sandwich that really looked like a sandwich, then make sure you check out the link down below in the description to catch up. And if you want to see more from my Harry Potter kitchen, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell, then you'll get an alert every Magic Monday when there's a brand new recipe. Speaking of which, I'm in the mood for some more sweet treats. Okay, so let's head back to Diagon Alley to see what is up next. So Harry, Ron and Hermione have gone to meet the rest of the Weasleys at Flourish and Blot, and they're introduced to Gilderoy Lockhart, who is signing copies of his book, and he's also written most of the curriculum for their next year at Hogwarts. Then there's a bit of a run-in with the Malfoys, some books get dropped on the floor, but don't worry, they end up back into Ginny's cauldron, and that's the end of chapter 4, so we're going to move on to chapter 5, The Whomping Willow, and that's a little shout out to the cake that we did a few episodes ago. So it's the end of the summer holidays now at the Burrow, and I can see our next recipe. On their last evening, Mrs Weasley conjured up some sumptuous dinner, which included all of Harry's favourite things, ending with a mouth-watering treacle pudding. Things are about to get sticky. If you'd like to recreate Mrs Weasley's magical treacle pudding, then all of the ingredients, measurements and instructions will be up on my website, bradleybakes.co.uk. The link is down below in the description. Last year, during the Philosopher's Stone, we made treacle tart, but this year we're going to do treacle pudding. They're both lovely, gooey and sticky, but treacle pudding is served with a light and fluffy sponge, and also it is super simple to make. So if you've never had treacle pudding before, watch these next few steps and then definitely make sure you give it a go. First up, we're going to work on that super light and fluffy sponge, so this is what you need to do. To make your sponge, you want to begin by creaming together your butter and sugar until light and fluffy. Scrape down the sides and then carry on beating. Crack your eggs into a jug and then lightly whisk them together. You then want to slowly pour this into your butter and sugar mixture, giving it time to incorporate. You then want to add in your dry ingredients. That's your flour, mixed spice, vanilla and lemon zest. Mix this through on a low speed until incorporated, but be careful not to overmix this, otherwise it will affect the lightness of your sponge. Scrape down your bowl and give it one final mix. So that is our super light and fluffy cake mix ready to go. So now we're going to move on to assembling our pudding. And traditionally, a treacle pudding is served in a bowl like this. So we're going to fill this with our golden syrup and some My Harry Potter Kitchen decoration. And then once it's cooked, we'll flip it over and all of those hot syrupy juices will run back through the cake. So you get this lovely, sweet, sticky, moist sponge as well. Now, if you don't want to steam it, you can do it in the oven as you want, but you won't get as nice light rise as you will if you steam it. So that is my preference. Another top trick for you is to do that in a slow cooker. So you can do it on the fire, but if you use a slow cooker, you'll get a much more even cook as it steams through. And depending on where you live, it might also be a bit cheaper on your energy costs. Now, it should be a pretty easy process as we put the golden syrup in the bottom and the sponge on top, but it's my Harry Potter kitchen and nothing is ever easy around here. So there were a few kitchen fails. As originally, I wanted to use flake almonds to make some lightning bolts, but they were too light. So when I added the golden syrup in and started cooking it, they started to float up and ruin the design. The same thing happened with pumpkin seeds, so I've decided to redo this recipe using some fruits as they're going to be much heavier, and then you also get that added burst of juice into your pudding. As we're going to flip this pudding over, we need to prepare it upside down. So begin by greasing your heat-proof bowl with some butter. I then like to mark an X into the bottom just to make it nice and easy to place in my decorations. I've got some Sultanas for Ravenclaw, some glacé cherries for Gryffindor, some pineapple for Hufflepuff, and a kiwi for Slytherin. You then want to place all of your fruit into the bottom of your bowl and gently pour over your golden syrup. Next, you want to carefully spoon the cake mix over the golden syrup, and you want to level this off, making sure you leave about a centimetre gap from the top. Cover the pudding with some foil, press it down against the sides, and then hold it in place with a band. This then needs to go into our slow cooker, and I've placed a metal ring at the bottom, or you can use a tea towel just to make sure it doesn't burn at the bottom. Fill the slow cooker up with water halfway up the side of your pudding, and place the lid on top, and in 2 hours you will have the most perfect, magical treacle pudding. So after 2 hours, our pudding has finished steaming, and you can smell that wonderful aroma of lemony, zesty goodness and the sweet, sticky golden syrup. So now all that's left to do is the grand reveal. So we're going to tip this one out, and fingers crossed our design will hold. Once your treacle pudding is ready, you then want to remove the foil and get yourself a palette knife and then ease it around the edge to help the pudding come out. Place a plate on top and then flip your pudding over. You then might want to get yourself a tea towel, as it will still be hot, and gently remove the bowl. And voila! Our Hogwarts house treacle pudding is complete. I like to drizzle mine with a little extra golden syrup before serving, and then it's good to go. So that is how to make a traditional treacle pudding with a little bit of extra Harry Potter magic. Let me know down below in the comments, which Hogwarts house do you belong to, and maybe keep an eye on the outpost. You might receive a little wedge from your house's corner coming up soon. That is all for this week's recipe, but if you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell. Then you'll get an alert every Magic Monday when there is a brand new recipe. I'm about to help myself to a big slice from the Gryffindor corner, and I'll see you next week. Molly Weasley would be proud.